The Pet's Life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.
And a very good morning to you all. Reminding you that you can text or WhatsApp us if you'd like, 0833 97 97 97. Any problems with your dogs and cats at home or any animal within the household, we'd love to hear from you. How to operate on a goldfish, I do not know. But anyway, we'll talk to Des right now. Very good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good, John. Great to be here.
Great weather as well.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's good for dogs and cats and good for all of us.
Yeah, I saw a lady getting out of a car in the shopping centre on Saturday and she had her dog in the back. And fair dues to her, she walked about 30 foot, she walked back and she remotely opened her 4 windows down by 2 inches.
Oh, very good.
And I was in the car park and she was only in for about 5 minutes. When she came back out, you know what she did? She came back out, she had a bottle of water, she had a little bit of a dish, a plastic thing, she put it outside, put the water in and she watched the dog drinking the water.
Yeah, that's a really good dog owner, really considerate.
And I thought...
So many nice people out there.
Yeah, and it was, look, it's 17 or 16 or 17 degrees, but there wasn't a cloud in the sky. So, I mean, look, I was at the Towns Cup games and I got absolutely
you got burnt. I did too, I got burnt at the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's really weird for the first week in April to have 18 degrees and be worrying about sunburn, but it is what it is, so let's enjoy it.
And most importantly, you have to look after your animals in this type of weather as well.
Yeah, because they will get sunburn too. And they'll get heat stroke. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know in my 30-something year career have I ever seen a case of heat stroke in the month of April.
Right.
No. But this would be 1 week when you could.
You could, very easy, because you just take it for granted.
Yeah,
People don't automatically presume.
So, folks, if you're not careful, you'll be giving me a career first, a heat stroke in the first week of April.
For your animal.
Don't want to see it. Walks and runs in the evening at the moment, and lots of extra water, and probably best to have the dogs either indoors during the day if you're indoors, or maybe have them at doggy daycare or somewhere like that where they can be supervised and managed and their exercise and their fun can be watched.
Here's a bit of a question for you. When it comes to animals and your dogs and you're bringing them for walks or runs or whatever the case may be, mostly when it was humans, you hydrate before you exercise.
Yeah.
Are you meant to do that with animals, or do you make sure you just get loads of water when they're back from their big run?
Loads of water. So they won't drink unless they're thirsty. They very much drink by instinct.
Right, okay.
So you're unlikely to be able to hydrate the dog beforehand, no. But have access to cool water, cool fresh water afterwards, and they'll drink away.
Of course they will, and because they'll be knackered.
Something between 30 to 40 minutes outdoors in the heat is going to be enough at the moment. And then back in again for a rest.
Okay.
So the panting as well is not something to worry about. Dogs cool themselves down by panting.
Yeah.
They don't sweat. So their thermoregulation, their own heat control, is through their respiratory system by taking in cool air and fresh oxygen and so on. So they hydrate by breathing in cool, cold air and extra oxygen. Yeah. And they blow out the carbon dioxide to cool themselves down.
Yeah, but that's not to say you still have to give them you have to hydrate them anyway.
Oh, you have to hydrate them and you have to put them back into a cool place. Yeah. Give them shade and fresh air.
Okay. Hey, Des, can you, just a quick question regarding hydration, just so you heard talking about water. Can you give dogs or your dogs gels, or can you give them something to cool down their bodies?
No. By gels. Okay, so that listener means, could you freeze gel packs in the freezer and then apply them to the dog?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. And in emergency situations, if an animal ever arrives into us overheated, say severely overheated, we use frozen gel packs like that to help cool them down in cases of heat stroke.
Okay, very good. And would it something like, if you're heading off on holidays, and we'll probably get to that stage as well in the next month, people start asking us questions about animals, especially people bringing their animals more often away. Yeah. What type of prep work would you need for that? Like, I mean, if you're driving down the cross to Germany or down the south of France or whatever the case may be, you'd obviously need loads of water and stuff on board.
Bring your own water, bring your own bowls and food bowls with you. Ensure that the dog has adequate space in the back of the car. You may have to leave the back windows open for a portion of the time while you're driving, because if you're ever stuck in heavy traffic on a motorway, you know how hot the inside of a car can get. So your dog can overheat while you're driving in the car with them, even overheat to a dangerous degree. So you may have to put the AC on in the car and keep the car very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the dog's ability to manage their temperature and manage temperature inside a stuffy car on a hot day will be limited. Because remember, so just to go back to that again, they cool themselves down by breathing in fresh air. So if they're in a stuffy car where the air is warm, they can't cool themselves. So you're going to have to put the AC on and ventilate them better.
Yeah. Good idea too as well. I think most people would do that for travelling down south anyway, or wherever you're going to in a long distance in your car as well. Right, topic today, got this from an article that was written by Lynn Kelleher, extra.ie, and I thought it was a good bit of a plug for it because it's a great article when you read down into it. Pampering your pooches sparks rise in dog behavioural problems. Dressing up your pampered pooch, pushing them around in strollers and generally treating them as baby humans has sparked a rise in dog problems, especially from the behavioural side of things, leading expert has warned. Now, first of all, let's put this into perspective and everything else. Is this just a case because the way social media has gone, everything is trending this way? Like, the Americans were doing this 20 years ago.
Americans were doing this 20 years ago. I found an article from Cesar Millan dating back to 2004, which is 20 years ago exactly, where he warns about the dangers of humanization. This man here, who's quoted this time, that article went across mainstream media and was picked up by several of the papers, and it's really good. He's a professional animal behaviourist.
Jim Stevens, is it?
Jim Stevens is a professional animal behaviourist who works for the Irish Kennel Club, and he advises on animal behaviours at dog shows and so on. And he talked about the dangers of humanisation in pets. Now, humanisation means treating your pets like a human child.
Right.
The danger of that. And it's a topic I've struggled with, to be honest, for 20, 30 years as a vet, with the gulf in understanding between what's right for a dog and what owners perceive or believe or interpret about their behaviours, you know? And trying to make people understand that they don't do the dogs any favours if they treat the dog like a human child.
Yeah.
And that's because they have different instincts, they're pack animals, they have different needs, and if they don't get the right signals from us, then it leads to behavioural problems, leads to aggression, leads to frustrations, leads to bad behaviours called stereotypical behaviours, can lead to separation anxiety. So we can cause separation anxiety, we can cause aggression, we can cause antisocial behaviours like barking and being destructive by misinterpreting the dog's signals and misinterpreting their natural needs. And treating them too much like a human child instead of understanding what the dog's natural instincts and urges and needs actually are.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you go back 25 years ago, you might see the little chihuahua with a little bit of ribbon in his hair and he'd be carried around or wherever. But the hell, it's moved on to a whole new way of doing things now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's moved on to a whole new way of doing it, which is a pity. Now look, to be fair, it's more of an urban phenomenon. We're probably preaching to the converted with our KFM listenership. I find generally my client base are really good at understanding what their dog's natural needs are. I have a cousin who I met recently at a family reunion, and he lives in Florida, works in banking in Florida, and he says he sees every day. It's a habitual thing. You could see dozens of small dogs in prams, in strollers, in the park in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, which is terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
The poor dog needs to walk.
It does,
So if I see customers coming into me carrying a dog like
that... Is that down to the owners being lazy in the first place? That they don't want to bring them for the physical walk? It's easier to chuck them into a stroller?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Stroller? Yeah, well, they kind of think it's cute. It's
trendy.
It's trendy and it's cute, and maybe they don't want to do the hard work, which is getting the dog to exercise the way it should exercise. Yeah, and they get a laugh out of it as well.
I mean, if you're in somewhere like Florida and you see your pooch coming along, and you know, on a nice hot day like today or whatever the case may be, and they have them dressed in clothes and whatever the case may be, I mean, surely that is not good for the dog anyway.
Clothes, right, would be bad for the dog anyway, right?
Yeah.
Because you're overheating the dog.
Yeah.
You're putting clothing on over a dog that nature gave it its own hair to control its own temperature. So you're going to cause overheating, and you're going to cause the stress. They don't like it. It's not part of their natural psyche, their natural makeup.
No.
They don't like it.
Yeah.
Another example of it there, Jim Stevens highlighted in that article, is the tendency to hug dogs.
Yeah.
For children to hug dogs.
Yes.
Even for owners. Dogs don't like that.
No.
It's not in their own body language. It's not in their own natural behaviour. They don't hug each other.
No.
So it's very, very hard.
But dogs will come over naturally, jump up on you as to their owners, and they'll jump and they'll want to be rubbed.
They will. You have to let them do it on their own terms.
Yeah.
You have to give them the opportunity to retreat if and when they want to. They get claustrophobic, or they feel restricted
Yeah.
or confined or trapped
Yeah.
very easily, and they need to retreat.
But isn't it like this thing with children when they're grown up and they want their puppies and all they want is the puppies to sleep at the end of the bed with them or beside them in the bed?
Yeah, sometimes the puppies will, and sometimes the puppies want to retreat a little and have a basket at the end of the bed.
Yeah, same difference really, isn't
That's it.
Yeah.
But this thing of having them too close to your face and giving them kisses and giving them hugs, it can lead to aggression.
But
it can be distressing for the dogs.
You see the owners and they're going around with their pooches, and on a hot summer's day they're buying them an ice cream and the dog is licking the ice cream off the cone.
All the sugar.
All the sugar. It's really good for them not.
Yeah.
No.
No,
absolutely
no.
not.
So Cesar Milan picked up on it more than 20 years ago and warned against humanisation. And this guy recently has warned against it. And he's listed 3 dangers of humanising pets.
Okay, go on.
I tell you the dangers, the obvious ones. So behavioural problems.
Yeah, that's
so we
touched on that.
Touched on that, right? Obesity and nutritional imbalance.
Right.
And bad teeth.
Okay,
so
but
bad health.
Let's take one of them at a time. Right?
Yeah,
Take the behavioural one. We touched on it. But as a result of doing all this stuff, what are the behavioural issues? Is it just the case they become disobedient? They just what's the problems that's affecting the dogs?
Yeah,
that
so
has
they
a knock-on
become
effect?
disobedient. So this man, the behaviourist Jim Stevens says, you must remember they're a pack animal. You must remember they do like a hierarchy. They need boundaries. They need rules. They need limitations, and they're secure when they know what to expect.
Yeah.
When they know what's going to happen. But if you're treating them like an equal and getting them involved in the decision making like another human, they actually don't like that because they don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then they misread the situation. So that's the first thing he said. The second thing he said is, he said, if you're not, you have to be calm, assertive with a dog because they don't speak English.
Yeah.
So if you try and have some type of an emotional conversation with a dog, you'll distress it, you'll lead to aggression, you'll accentuate its anxiety because it doesn't know what the story is.
Yeah.
It picks up on your own emotion.
Okay.
So you have to show leadership through being calm, assertive, as he describes it.
Yeah.
Right? And the third thing he says, which is really, really good, he said that if you treat the dog like a human child, the dog will think that you are his servant.
Yeah.
Isn't that a good one?
That's a good one.
So he doesn't know who's actually I do see it a lot with even dogs coming into me and dogs you meet, and those dogs that are overly assertive and square up to you and barking at you and all the rest of it when you meet them.
So you're a vet and you're a dog owner, you have the fabulous Bonnie as well. Don't lie to me now. What type of spoiling would Bonnie get? Or are you typical? Or do you have to kind of think like a dog owner and think like a vet separately?
Yeah, I have to think like a vet separately. I try and bring the two. I try and bring the two sides into play. In that, first of all, we don't give her treats.
Yeah,
she likes her own nuts, and she gets her nuts as a reward after she does something good. When she has her little routine of being reminded about her training, her recall, her sit, stay, come back, lie down, don't run over to the other dog. All the little training things that we put into play, she just gets her own nuts as the reward.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. No extras.
So you know the way in dog food there's the nuts, right?
Yeah.
Or the samples that you brought in earlier, and the cats and dog food samples, right? They're the type of things that you reward them with.
Yeah.
But don't you know when you see on shelves of pet shops and in supermarkets, there's also the little doggy and cat treats as such.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you saying that they're not really things?
They're not really great.
No.
They're not really great. That's naked commercial opportunism by the companies.
Okay, right.
By the nutritionalists.
Yeah.
That's capitalising on the humanisation trend. Dogs do like them, but we have about 50,000 taste buds around our tongue and in our mouth, right?
Yeah.
Dogs have only got 1,500 taste buds. So the range of taste is not really a big thing for them. Dogs more go by smell.
Yeah.
So this is where humanisation comes in. You think that visually nice things are going to be visually appealing to a dog, or even tasty nice things are going to be appealing to a dog, but actually it's completely different. Dogs perceive the world more through their nose and smell and scent than any of the other senses.
Yeah.
So that's another aspect of it, another reason why treats are not necessary and not a good thing.
But when it comes to, say, natural human, I've often asked you this question before about, say, a piece of chicken. Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a piece of breasted chicken. It's left over at the end of your...
lovely, good protein.
And is that okay to give to
It
them?
is.
Yeah.
It is. Just take a small handful of nuts out of the bag at the same time. Remember, we have to be the responsible adult.
Yeah.
We're the responsible owner, so we should manage their calorie intake.
So when you're giving them something like that is a bit of ham or a bit of chicken or whatever the case may be. So the secret is give them the nuts and the little treat together.
Yeah.
Why that?
Well, you have to factor it into their daily calorie intake because, look, nobody wants to be a hard ass and be overly disciplined all the time. But on a broad level, if you're careful enough, the overall picture in terms of managing your dog's diet, if you're careful enough, you'll prevent obesity and prevent arthritis.
Yeah.
But as I say, if you overly treat your dog like a child, and you're inclined to be giving them treats for the sake of it too often, you will end up with an obese dog, an overweight dog. And overweight dogs get sick far, far, far quicker even than an overweight human would.
Yeah. Okay, a couple of questions coming in, 3 questions that are popping in really quickly there. First of all, good morning, guys. Actually, this is more of an observation. I was in Cornwall recently and I couldn't get over the amount of people with dogs in buggies, prams, and even carrying them in rucksacks, backsacks.
Yeah, that's a shame. Because, believe it or not, it actually takes quite a while to train a dog, get a dog used to, get a dog relaxed being in a rucksack or being constricted and confined or clipped into a pram. They don't like it. They'd rather walk and have the freedom of being able to explore their environment. Yeah. And remember, because they do come from that pack environment and they still have a kind of a predator-prey instinct. So they perceive the world differently from us. They want to be able to run up to something and investigate it and then retreat. They don't like the restriction of feeling that they're moving through the environment and looking at things they don't understand, and they can't interpret that environment in their own way.
Okay, Martin Kavanagh, he says he's from Arklow listening to us at the moment. Thank you very much, sir. We've heard yours to you. He just wants to know, he says he's got 2 dogs. One is a red setter and the other is a large Springer Spaniel type dog who both dogs only eat dry food. Occasionally, like what you said, John, we do sometimes feed them bits of chicken or a bit of steak left over, but this would be very, very rare. To be honest with you, they just get on with it. Yeah,
that's a guy with a good practical attitude towards his dogs. He understands that a dog is a dog.
Yeah.
And nowadays, the good pet foods that you buy, they're made for convenience, but the good premium brands have a bit of science behind them. And if it says balanced diet or complete diet on the bag, well, then they don't need extras.
Well, of course, the good companies, the reason why they're good companies and the reason why they are doing so well is because obviously they're putting a lot of money into research.
They have teams of scientists hired.
Yeah.
To look at what the nutritional requirements of the dog are.
Yeah, and that's the key thing to it, isn't it, going forward?
And premium diets are really, really useful because a premium diet will prevent a dog from picking up unnecessary health problems later.
Okay, right, on we go. Another couple of questions coming in. Rosalind was on. She says, hi guys, can you ask Des, what are the signs of strokes in dogs? Our 13-year-old sheepdog has been holding her head and neck to the side since the weekend, and her balance definitely seems to be a little bit off. She's starting to improve this morning, so wondering if this could be a stroke. She's a farm dog, but doesn't do much work nowadays.
Yeah, that's a type of a stroke.
Is it? Okay.
It is. Listener, you please get your dog to the vet today.
Today.
That's vestibular. It's a thing called vestibular syndrome, which affects the inner ear and the balance. So, a one-sided neurological stroke.
Right,
that's the terminology
Rosalind,
for that.
I know you're out there in our direction. Thank you for your message and thank you for getting in touch. So, take Des' advice on board. The vet today regarding if you think the dog is even improving, because obviously it needs to be checked over according to Des there as well. Melissa was on. She says, what the best way to clip my cat's toenails? Or is there a way?
Yeah, occasionally we do clip cats' nails on request.
Forget about it.
Any vet
but they're hidden unless they come out.
They're hidden. You can pinch them out. Now, if you have a particularly old cat who, the reason why a cat would stop grooming himself and stop managing his own nails is if he was stiff and sore. So arthritis in old age can stop them from managing their own nails.
Right.
So you can check that they're not overgrown. And old cats need their nails clipped. Younger cats don't.
Right, they don't need their nails clipped because they manage themselves. You often see them kind of doing their thing on the posts and on timber.
So scratching posts for indoor cats, isn't that the thing?
Yes, it is, most definitely. Our cat just uses a mat. It's kind of like a rugged mat at the front door. Yeah. And I often just see him stretching his back and he's rubbing it down.
Good to kind of have an old mat like that and encourage him to use it and keep him away from the furniture.
Okay. Jenny was on. She says, says, her cat seems to have changed in the last while for the better. He's gone really tame and friendly. Now he actually rolls over and rolls over.
Yeah.
My cat does that.
Yeah.
Comes to you, runs up to you. You know, he does it in his own terms, don't get me wrong. He's not like a dog, he'll come running and jumping.
That's the difference,
But he'll come in and he'll go around in a circle, and then he'll just stop, and then he'll flop over, and I googled it, and it just says it's a sign that the cat trusts you, because it's showing the belly to you, and the belly is the most sensitive part of a cat.
It is, and this listener's cat there is the same, just having fun, having play, very happy in his own family life. So well done.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, that's it. Done. And else?
No, it's cool. I was amazed at that to see that topic go viral, the idea of pet humanisation, and it's something that's really good to talk about, remembering that pet humanisation can cause behavioural problems, can lead to obesity if you're not really careful. And the other unfortunate consequence of it is, if you're breeding dogs to look cute, the incidence of breed defects increases.
Yeah, get you.
So people have to ask themselves, hard, tough questions when they want to get a particular breed of a dog. Ask themselves why they want a particular breed of a dog. And what I'm angling, something I talk about nearly every week here, one of my private campaign, if you like, I don't like brachycephalic dogs.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them bred to have better faces.
Okay, brilliant stuff.
They'd be the pugs and the Frenchies.
Okay.
So I'd always say to people, don't get one.
Okay, good stuff, my man. Thanks for dropping into us as always, and I presume you're heading off to the game again on Friday, eh?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Leinster v Glasgow.
Good game last week, although a bit one-sided. Okay, up and running. We're back with that again, and we'll be podcasting this later on this afternoon.
It's a pet's life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.